One of my favorite conspiracy theories ever is the Paul is dead conspiracy. Paul McCartney in 1966 was in a car accident, died, and then the record executives swapped him with a lookalike that they had reconstructive plastic surgery on.
Oh my God.
The Beatles, following that period of time, had so much guilt and trauma from it that they hid clues in everything for it. People always point to the Abbey Road album art and they say, this is the Beatles trying to tell you what happened because Paul is in a suit, he's got no shoes on, he's the corpse. John is in all white, he's Jesus.
They're just looking for the confirmation bias of their existing belief.
Okay, so they replaced someone else with Paul so that the people don't know that he died, and then they would go on to give signs to the people to tell him he actually died. Wait, what? It doesn't even make sense.
1994, there was an earthquake in New York. There was an earthquake this year. The Rangers were the 1 seed. They won the Cup. They're the 1 seed this year. The Knicks were the 2 seed. They went to the NBA Finals. They're the 2 seed this year. OJ was a big topic of conversation. OJ was a big topic of conversation. If you believe in karma, when it comes to sports, all the stars are aligned for a repeat of 94, which for me means the Knicks lose in the NBA Finals, but the Rangers win a Stanley Cup. If I could just flip that, I'd be a happy boy.
Oh, so it's happening all over again.
We are worried about the house economy crashing here in the next 6 months or so, and our mortgage rate is at 2.5%.
Well, let me stop you. I'm sorry. Why are you worried about the housing economy in Denver, Colorado crashing?
Well, my wife is she's more of a realist than I am, and so I'm just kind of going with the flow, and we're just trying to.
I'm sorry. What does being a realist mean? You mean a pessimist?
I guess so. I'm not trying to talk down on her because.
Oh, I wasn't either. I'm just saying a realist is someone who observes facts. There are no facts in the marketplace that indicated a housing crash in Denver, Colorado in the next 6 months. Absolutely zero facts.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So, and then also we're wanting to see if we should sell our house.
No.
Also, and collect our revenue.
No.
It's already at 700.
No.
No. Okay.
You guys need to get off the internet.
That's what I say too.
Yeah. So. I'm sitting next to the Ramsey family conspiracy theorist.
Conspiracy theorist. I don't know. When AT&T went out last month,
Rachel, what's the Denver housing conspiracy? I missed this one. You're up on all the conspiracies.
It does have the Denver airport. You are close to the bunker. That could happen if it all goes down, Shane. That's your greatest asset right now.
Oh, so he heard on the internet that the market is crashing, so he wanted to sell his house. That is why you should never believe everything you see and hear on the internet.
It's official. Scientists have finally confirmed what's inside the moon. For decades, scientists have argued as to whether the lunar core is molten or solid, and conspiracy theorists have wondered if perhaps it's hollow. Movie makers have made such classic films as Moonfall, absolutely hilarious, by the way. I'd recommend you check it out, where Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry discovered that the moon is a sentient alien spacecraft with advanced technology in the center similar to Halo's Forerunners. And Halle Berry goes to the center of the moon and saves the world in this big blockbuster, hilarious Roland Emmerich style thing. But let's move back to the science. I just had to reference that. So a team based out of France decided to pull lunar seismic data from a variety of different studies and also use some of the lunar laser missions to sort of range find and detect density and depth to come up with a model of the inner surface of the moon. And what they discovered is that the interior of the moon is actually solid. It is not molten, but if you see this tiny white ring right here, it does have a liquid layer of some kind that doesn't appear to be molten, but rather just a regular liquid. So of course you have the crust, then you have a lot more different flavors of crust here, a little liquid layer, and then an insanely dense iron-like iron core, solid core. They don't know if it's iron, but they do know that it has roughly the same density of iron. So this is, I guess, it's solving some questions that we had. There are lunar quakes and lunar seismic activity, and the scientists believe that is mostly from heavier materials shifting down toward the center, and it doesn't necessarily have to have a molten core in order to be seismically active. Or Was it aliens? Perhaps we'll never know, but I thought this was kind of a funny thing. Scientists have been leaning toward the solid core for the moon for a very long time, and it's nice to finally have some proof on it.
Oh, so it's more like the Earth's core.
You see that pyramids were recently found in Antarctica? 5 days ago, they had the military go to Antarctica to investigate multiple pyramids. It was supposed to be a top secret mission, but it's already leaked. Also, like, how would you stay quiet about a pyramid? They're huge. Like, how would you miss this? Documents were found that said that they went to investigate because the pyramids were emitting an energy. These documents also stated that members of a certain society visit the pyramids for a reunion. But, like, how come we've never seen these pyramids? Like, it's not easy to hide a pyramid. They're not small. Why have we never heard about this before? It is believed that an ancient civilization constructed these pyramids in Antarctica, and that it has something to do with the UFOs, similar to the UFO conspiracy theories about the pyramids that we know in Egypt. Except these pyramids are 2 times the size of the ones in Egypt. And Antarctica is already a hub for conspiracy theories. I can make a whole other video about them. If you want me to update you as we find out more information about what's going on with these pyramids and what was leaked, I cannot, because this is a creepypasta.
Oh, so the pyramids appear out of nowhere in Antarctica. And it was supposedly to be kept secret. But you leaked it, so it's not secret anymore. And on top of that, a secret society meeting takes place in there. And supposedly aliens build those pyramids. So does that mean that the secret society is in contact with the aliens? I guess we'll never know.
Welcome to theories about the universe that may or may not change your entire perspective on life. Warning, potential existential crisis incoming. So this first one says that if someone were to figure out exactly what the universe was and what its purpose was, then it would just poof and come back as something even more peculiar, and as an extension, maybe this has already happened and it's just a vicious cycle. There's a theory that our universe is just one single atom, and all of the atoms that we're made up of are also smaller universes, and this scale is infinite. Girl, I don't even think I understand this one, and I honestly don't even know if it makes sense, so bear with me. So some people theorize that time is just one giant loop, and as it goes around and around, we advance more and more. So for example, the pyramids were actually built in our version of the future, but it was actually the beginning of the previous loop. This would explain why we can't figure out exactly how they were built. This one just makes my brain hurt. I'm curious to know what other people think. And finally, the meaning of life is for the universe to experience itself.
That was pretty deep, even deeper than the Mariana Trench. That's why I didn't understand any of that.
This is what it feels like at 65 miles an hour. I can feel the wind, I can hear it, and I can see the effect.
Isn't it kind of ironic that he put his head back in the car and the wind calmed down? He didn't slow down, just wasn't in the wind anymore. There's no wind in space. That's okay, he probably didn't notice. I'll go ahead and comment. Oh, wait. That's okay, I can just stitch it. Oh, wait. Isn't it also ironic that these flat earthers that are searching for truth always turn off their comments and disable stitches so no one can have a dialogue with them?
Here's a number to sleep on. You ready?
Probably.
We live in a time where if a bus drives into a crowd of protesters, kills 10 people, that's world headlines for a day, national headlines for a week, it's local headlines for a month. Between 1939 and 1945, 1,000 humans were killed per hour of every hour between 1939 and 1945. That doesn't happen today. Yes, we have war, we have conflict, people are dying.
It's not like that.
Not like that. It is not like that. Not long before that, there was another world war, plus a pandemic on top of it that ultimately killed more people than the World War did.
Wow. So less people are dying.
Yes, we have more people and fewer people are dying and fewer people are living in poverty than ever before. My point is, for the last 30 years, they've asked people, are you safer this year than you were last year? No, it's more dangerous. For 27 out of 30 years, people have said it's more dangerous than the previous year. In those years, the crime rate has dropped precipitously the entire time.
So they're slanging fear.
That's what sells evening news.
Really does.
Evening news.
Yep, I truly agree with that. All of the news, they sell fear.
I'm a retired FBI agent, and this is a conspiracy theory that keeps me up at night. In 2018, a treasure hunter tipped off the FBI to a large cache of buried, stolen Civil War gold in a rural part of Elk County, Pennsylvania. Now, the story goes, this treasure hunter had been looking into this since around 2011, probably further back than that. But his research showed that during the Civil War, a secret society known as the Knights of the Golden Circle, a group that operated in the North to sabotage the Northern efforts, one of them being to steal this gold that was on its way to the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and then hide it. Why they never went back for it, I don't know. This treasure hunter had been operating or doing his research and looking for this stuff, and he located a site that was on public land in Pennsylvania. And he was operating under the permission of the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. It's somewhere along the way, this treasure hunter and the DCNR had a falling out, and he follows this up and goes to the FBI. He told them, or however he convinced them, they took it seriously enough to hire an outside agency to go in and do some very high-tech survey of the property to see if there's any validity to this. And sure enough, this high-tech equipment revealed that there was a large mass of some kind at this site underground. And then the FBI, also using pretty high-tech equipment, determined that there was the presence of gold. They end up getting a seizure warrant through a federal judge. They get a writ of entry that gives them access to the land. They do a 3-day search for this using an excavator and all kinds of techniques, to try to locate this stuff. Very well documented, I have to say, very thoroughly documented. And they found nothing. No sign of Civil War gold, no sign that anything had been buried there. Now, currently ongoing, there's a lawsuit between this treasure hunter and the FBI. He claims that they did find something and that there's video evidence of this. I don't understand why the site survey shows presence of gold, a large mass under the ground, and then they find absolutely nothing.
Question for everybody who said nothing was going to happen after this eclipse. Please step to the podium and let your girl know, what the hell am I looking at right here? Things have gotten so strange ever since April 8th. And when I tell y'all, it's just getting stranger by the day. I'm gonna show y'all. But first, let's start with this. What is that? A woman said she was hiking in a remote part of Canada. She said that she took this photo on Vancouver Island of a strange and hairy person. Miss ma'am, that is not a person. I don't know what it is. And you the goat for standing around to even get the footage, because I would have hauled ass. See, the thing about me is I'll never get any good footage for y'all. I'm not sticking around to see what's going to happen next. I'm going to live to tell the story. But shout out to her, though, because this is great footage. But y'all let me know, what exactly are we looking at right here? Look at them playing in our faces.
Actually,
hologram in the sky in California.
No, it's straight up and down.
Doing the Bobby Smurf.
No, it has something on the side, Robert. Maybe I got a picture. Oh, yeah? Uh-oh, Iron Man, sorry.
South Carolina, this happened. This is the result of that. What is going on, y'all? And remember in my demon face video, I told y'all we've been walking amongst those beings for the longest. Let me show y'all what I mean.
That thing right now.
Original demon face.
I got some of you dancing around on the floor right now. Get on up out of bed. Come on.
No. Now this man or this thing been walking amongst us for a long time, yet we never really truly paid attention to how evil and demonic he looked until now. Maybe it's because the energies on the planet has changed and we can see who he truly is. That man looked crazy as hell. But speaking of demon face syndrome, have y'all seen all the stories up and down the timeline of people saying that they've been taking pictures, and when they look at the pictures, the people's faces look distorted, or they walking down the street and the people's faces are distorted? Like, this is not no syndrome. This is some spiritual shit. This is demonic energy. That's what that is. And like I said, as long as the energies keep rising and changing on the planet, your third eye is going to keep expanding and opening, and you're going to continuously see what's walking amongst you. Last night is what took the cake for me, though. I'm sitting here chilling in my room, minding my business, and I hear like a loud crash, or what it sounded like a crash, and then it sounded like some little creatures. It was like, I can't make a good impression, y'all, but it was a noise that I never heard in my life. And at first I was like, damn, am I feeling a little too nice? Am I tripping? But then my daughter came out the bathroom real quick and was like, did you hear that? And I'm like, yeah, I heard that. Like, what was that? That didn't, like, it didn't sound normal. It didn't sound like a car crash or nothing like that. It sounded like some weird shit. Like I said, a UFO crash or something weird happened. But guess who wasn't going outside to check? You guessed it, me. Shit, what I look like? I did look out the window though. I looked out my front window, I went to the side window, I went to the back window. I couldn't see nothing, but I know something happened, and it was some weird shit. Anywho, I'm interested to see what the rest of this week, month, year gonna bring. Hell, it's been so much happening every single day. It's never a dull moment now. Y'all let me know what kind of strange stuff y'all been seeing around your way. Peace, love, light, and gratitude for watching.
Wait, so you're telling me that eclipse caused mutations in humans? What?
This story is absolutely crazy. This is Robin Shiro. She was arrested in my hometown over this last week. She is also a Republican candidate for state house. Why was she arrested in my hometown? Oh, because she led police on a pursuit to my hometown where she ultimately stopped at the courthouse. The details of the arrest are insane. Before we even get into that, let's just look at some of the things that this is a real candidate. This is what her pamphlet that she sends out said. I promise the state of South Dakota that I will work for the rest of my natural life to eliminate the IRS, eliminate the use of IRS contract investigators, since they are trained as terrorists, to hack into literally everything, including our 911 system. Put in place a way to submit an FBI tip in person, an FBI office, and ensure that it is received by a legitimate, concerned FBI agent, not a visitor to the FBI. Not currently happening. Put in place firewalls so that illegal terrorists, under the guise of being IRS contract investigators, cannot hack into FBI tip online website and prevent you from submitting an FBI terrorist tip online. This is all relevant because she is convinced that the IRS is full of terrorists and that they are after her, which will become relevant in her arrest. A few months ago, she posted this, basically accusing the DMV in Elk Point, the small town she's in now, of also being terrorist. You can pause to read. It is important to note she has not even been in South Dakota very long, and she certainly hasn't been in Elk Point for very long, making her candidacy even more weird. But how do we know she wasn't in Elk Point for very long? Because the warrant they were chasing her for comes from Deadwood, South Dakota. These charges from Deadwood are only a few months old, and we know she was living in Deadwood because when she was there, she liked to show up to city council meetings. Now, she says she's an MBA with this huge finance background, and that's how she knows that the IRS are terrorists. But here is late as September, first week of September, she shows up to a Deadwood City Council meeting and is marked as Robin Shiro, Deadwood Lodge and Deadwood outdoor rental employee. Stated she was involved in a crime with the county. While in the emergency room, she wanted to talk to a sheriff's department instead of city police. Her request to the commission is that the officer involved not bother her niece. And a couple weeks later, she shows up to a Deadwood City Council meeting and is marked as a Mineral Palace employee. That is a casino in Deadwood. And she wanted the commission to know that people were posing as FBI investigators and IRS agents, hacking into the gaming system to surveil people, vandalizing hotel rooms, and she wanted them to know that she has been in contact with the Gaming Commission as well as the governor. Somehow, over the last few months, she ends up in Elk Point. Over this last week, she ends up arrested. So this is the time of her arrest. This is the police report. The police chase her all the way to North Sioux City. They get there and the police officer asks what she's doing. She says, oh, that pursuit was just a misunderstanding. She then screamed at all the officers, accusing them of being IRS agents. They had to try to talk her down, call back up, physically pull her out of her car because after she got out of the car, she tried to get back in and drive off again. Then Officer Head had finally convinced her to get in his patrol vehicle. Even these officers knew that she had a lengthy history of mental health and several encounters with law enforcement in just the few months she's been here. Then they transport her to the jail where it gets even more strange. Shortly after booking her, the police did call to try to get her admitted because she claimed that the IRS was watching her through cameras that they installed in her teeth. This would be funny if this was not a real Republican candidate in our state. And this is not a one-off. We have our representatives and our candidates arrested all of the time for the most unhinged things. This is the brain rot that comes from right-wing propaganda. So when Jess Piper gets on this app and tells y'all, especially in small communities, to not let these people run unopposed, that's because these people have a genuine shot at making choices about every single aspect of our daily life.